ladies and gentlemen, some places to find good teams in any leagues are, well, YouTube videos like this one, subscribe. But you can also go on Discord servers that people have. There's Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. But there's also Reddit. And I saw on a subreddit a team that someone hit legend with, I think it was 2 days ago. And I was like, oh, this team looks pretty good. Plus, it's got a little bit of toxicity in it. So, I want to try it out. And I'm just going to give you all that team here, and we're going to show you some of the games. But it was a very good team. I tried not to do too many sets with it. So I think I did 3 sets, and I went 4-1, 4-1, 4-1, I believe. Or I can't remember if I played one game in the first set. So I either went 4-0, 4-1, 4-1, or 4-1, 4-1, 4-1. We'll see. But the team's going to be Bastiodon in the front. That's that toxicity twist that I'm talking about. And then there's Talonflame in the back. I would assume the finisher, basically. I feel like whenever you have Talonflame in the back, it's definitely not... Okay, wait. It could be a safe swap because you have Brave Bird to try to flip switch, but I like Talonflame as a finisher, to be honest. And again, you guys know it on this channel if you've seen any of the videos, but I like Talonflame with the double flying charge moves. And then in the very back is actually going to be Serperior, a grass type. Not something that's used very much, so definitely you want to catch things out that are going to be good for you. Serperior is going to be a hard one to find a great matchup with. But when I say that, I mean it just doesn't have the best coverage. It has Aerial Ace, which is definitely a coverage move and will help you beat the other grasses, something like Venusaur, but Venusaur has Sledge Bomb. I don't know. But when you have a lack of coverage on one of your Mon, especially in the back, whenever you get switched in on and there's a good matchup, you definitely want to use it. And some things the reason that Serperior is actually pretty good is not as self-evident as you think. So obviously it's very good against Gastrodon, double super effective against water, being super effective against water and ground. Very good against Azumarill, even though Azumarill has Ice Beam. Serperior actually has a very decent amount of bulk. You're not going to get one shot by an Ice Beam, and you'll be able to two-shot the Azumarill with Frenzy Plant way before they ever get to a second Ice Beam. Azumarill just takes a long time to get to its moves. But where it's actually really good and not really seen too much is against what's the fast attack? Rollout. Against the rollout users. So specifically Dunsparce, they're not going to be able to hit you with Drill Run because you do resist that as a grass type. So they're only going to hit you with the Rock Slide, which Rock Slide's been nerfed in the last 3 seasons. And then Rollout's going to be doing neutral damage, but you have a lot of HP to get through, and again, Rock Slide not really going to be doing that much to you. They need like 4 Rock Slides to KO you, which obviously you only need 2 Frenzy Plants to KO them. What else? I will say something I noticed about this team is that those rollout users are very tough. For this team, obviously you have an ABA weakness with Bastiodon and Talonflame in the back because they can get to the Drill Run against the Bastiodon, which is double super effective. And they have Rollout and Rock Slide, which is double super effective against Talonflame. So double super effective on 2 Mon, that is rough for sure. But we definitely see a lot of them in these battles, so just hopefully this helps you get through them. This has been a really long intro. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the battles. All right, so Ariados in the front. So something that a lot of people have been seeing lately is Ariados, which you have double... You're super effective with 2 of your Mons, so your ABA is strong to Ariados, which is fantastic. So as long as you don't get it up against the Serperior, you're pretty good. They end up going into a water type. It is for Alligator. The only way you can actually outpace this on a switch-in is if you do go for the Aerial Ace, because they can go for the Ice Beam. But we'll see if they do go for the Ice Beam right away. When I said that before, I meant if they do bait. So since they're baiting, I'm going to decide to go for a bait here. It's the only way I can catch up. Otherwise, we're going to CMP on Frenzy Plant, and I'm going to be in a pretty bad position. But I assume this is going to be an Ice Beam, and I kind of don't need shields. Although I thought about it later, and I was like, technically I could just be waiting, or I could just be losing this matchup in a 0 shield situation and allow my other Mon to get through. And then I go for the catch here onto the Talonflame, because I assume it's going to be the Ice Beam and not a Hydro Cannon, which, yeah, it is. But it does a lot, but I'm going to get a little bit of energy lead here, and then again, Talonflame is very good against Ariados, and obviously it was very good against whatever was in the back there as well. Malamar. So this is an awkward matchup because you do resist the and I'm fine taking a superpower here, but you do resist the Psy Wave, but you're scared of the superpower because it's double super effective. I do decide I'm going to shield the second one since they got the 2 moves. The thing is, I probably should have switched out into something at this point. Yeah, and then I don't really know what to do against Drapion here because I'm like, I feel like I'm kind of okay with it in this matchup. Maybe I'll go to the Talonflame at some point. Talonflame can eat an Aqua Tail. We went over that in the last video as well. Which was also a Talonflame team. Talonflame's just really good, right? I really like playing Talonflame in general in Open Great League. So it just has a lot of play when you have the Brave Bird variant, right? So question is, do I let this go? I will survive this, so they'll have to throw a second Aqua Tail, which they have a ton of energy here. They have to throw a second Aqua Tail into it. But I do come in with the Talonflame knowing that I can live an Aqua Tail here and hopefully get the farm down before they get to another move. Which would also allow me to basically have a Brave Bird for whatever they're coming in with. And I do go for the fly here against the Malamar because I figure I can get to a second fly if I go for the 1 shield scenarios here. And I kind of do want to get rid of this Malamar. And I think they were out of move. So I feel like they maybe lost count here because now I have a huge lead. And actually it's Sandslash in the back, which he's going to be able to get me down. But look at this, 2 Incinerates. Got this down to... probably like 27%. The only reason I say 27 is because right when you get to red, it's 25%, and it was only 1 smackdown away from getting to that. So I wanted to eat a little bit of energy there on the Bastiodon, and then once I did, I'm going to switch over to the Serperior because obviously they do have super effective Ice Punch against me. Wigglytuff lead, fantastic lead. Gastrodon, it's already over. So the only thing Gastrodon can really throw at you is the Body Slam because you do resist Earth Power, which is their strongest move. And if they do have Water Pulse, you obviously resist that as well. So I do basically go up to 100 energy here. Technically not at 100. I think it's like 99. Something like that. But I'm going to be able to throw the Frenzy Plants into the Wigglytuff, which is just a neutral hit. And obviously Frenzy Plant is a Community Day move. Definitely something to think about there if you're going to be using the Serperior. And then I said it in the last video that we used Talonflame, but the Incinerate, which is the fast attack Talonflame has, is also a Community Day move. You can't get these moves without using Elite TM unless they come back for some sort of event that that Niantic's doing for past Community Day move, past Community Day Mon. Catching you here in the middle of the video. Definitely subscribe if you haven't. Just take a second, hit it. All right, back to the video. So since I have 2 answers to the Wigglytuff, which is kind of a theme here, 2 answers to fairies, 2 answers to bugs, I'm able to go into this Talonflame, and I already have infinite energy here, so it's GG. Bastiodon lead. I will say Bastiodon's not a mon you see that much anymore. Smackdown did get nerfed. They do throw here, and I kept this in because it's a really interesting battle. But they go for Stone Edge here. So Stone Edge technically a better move in general on Bastiodon, but in this matchup, you do resist that with the steel typing that Bastiodon has. Flamethrower is neutral, and while Flamethrower is not the best move, you'd rather go for the neutral move than the resisted move. So this person kind of never figures it out, or maybe they have a 1-moved Bastiodon. I'm not too sure. I don't think you'd have a 1-move Bastiodon in the like 2750 range, so in the expert range. So I don't know what to think here. It actually is pretty close, so maybe theirs is more excelled, or they know something I don't know, but Flamethrower is definitely the way I've always seen it come through in this matchup, and then obviously I end up winning this matchup. So winning the lead here is a lot, and I have a lot of time to think in this matchup, to be honest, because it's going for so long. I end up losing CMP, which makes me think even more that his Bastiodon is, well, do I think it's attack weighted? Maybe, well, I don't know that matters. But anyways, they end up bringing in a Serperior, and I was like, oh, wait, is this the same team? Because if it is, I'm just going to eat this move here. Talonflame versus Talonflame when I have a lead is going to be nice. I still have Bastiodon for a decent amount of health. A few smackdowns that are double... my voice. A few smackdowns that are double super effective against the Talonflame. I do end up getting the shield here. Probably worth my shields here. I really don't want to go into a Serperior matchup. And they actually end up having Flame Charge. So Again, I don't like the Flame Charge moveset against the Fly and Brave Bird moveset. I just feel like Incinerate's fine for your fire damage here. And then I'm probably going to switch into Bastiodon here, I imagine, after this Fly to try to take it out. Oh, actually it ends up getting taken out anyways, and the Serperior is a little bit down on HP. I still have HP on the Bastiodon and the Talonflame, so there's a lot of fast move pressure I still have in the end, even beyond this Aerial Ace pressure. And I probably will lose CMP on the Serperior. I'm pretty sure I made this on community and it's very low. I think 0 attack. But that should be GG. And there was the mirror match that this person obviously saw the same post I saw on Reddit, or they're the same person for all I know. Well, that doesn't make sense. They would have been legend and I'm expert. Or I'm almost expert, I guess I should say. Clefable in the lead here. Pretty great matchup for me. Nothing really to worry about. I think technically Meteor Mash is the worst move it could be, and usually they don't run Meteor Mash. It is neutral against us, but Clefable nowadays are running Swift and Moonblast mainly, so it is interesting to see Meteor Mash. It's not like a weird move or anything. It's just not the most used one nowadays. But it does give you interesting coverage against the other fairy types, against random rock types, I guess. Maybe something resists Moonblast, but you still want to hit it with a decent move. Meteor Mash is a pretty good move. They end up coming in with a Drift Limb. I do throw a Stone Edge here, obviously super effective against the flying type here. And they do end up shielding it, which is tough. And then I don't want to wait any amount of time. I don't want them to get that big farm down, because then it's going to be hard for me to deal with it. So I'll just go to the Talon matchup and whatever's against in the back, and then hopefully have this 2 shield advantage is enough to do something with in this back matchup. And I don't want to take damage here. Well, technically the first one would be fine, but I'm trying to preserve a little bit of HP here. And I'm throwing at awkward times because I'm trying to maximize my energy versus their shield. Because if they end up shielding this, then we'll still have a chance to be one away from the next one, which is fine. And then the possibility of what I gain is them not throwing a move and me getting an extra Incinerate in for free. Free's a relative term here, but they end up having Mystical Fire, which is odd, but it's kind of screwy for me. So I decide to just bring in the Bastiodon. They actually get it all the way down. Not great. I can probably take the first move because I assume they're running Ice Beam Mystical Fire, if I'm being honest. I feel like probably this person's thinking the same way I'm thinking the Talon matchup, where I'm like, okay, maybe there's a lot of ghost damage in your fast attack, so you don't have to have another ghost move. And then I go for the Frenzy Plant here, which is resisted, but it is a much stronger move than Aerial Ace. I believe that is the way to go. And I actually do not get the farm down. So something to note there, maybe I could have gotten to 2 Aerial Aces, but I didn't think I could. So all right, Shadow Dragonite. So obviously Bastiodon's really good against Shadow Dragonite. You can take it out pretty easily with your fast attacks. The only thing I have to worry about is its possible gaining of energy throughout the other matchups to throw Superpower into Bastiodon, and then also have an answer for Bastiodon in the back. So something like a second water type is going to be scary for me here, as long as it's not Gastrodon. Gastrodon we're actually fine against, but something like Feraligatr might be tough for us in the very back. They decide to shield, so I'm going to shield as well. This actually really helps them out. They want our shields to be down for the Dragonite, but I'm going to be able to get the full farm down. Dragonite is going to take a decent amount of damage. Now, in this flying matchup, I decide to go for Aerial Ace, and the reason is because it actually double resists Frenzy Plant, because it is Dragon type and flying, both resist. And now it's a question of, do I want to use my shield here? I think I technically would live as Superpower, and then they end up just baiting, which is weird. Ferrothorn, it's over. Double super effective Incinerates. Fire, super effective against grass, and super effective against steel. Gastrodon lead, obviously really bad for me, but both my answers in the back are fine against Gastrodon. Now, you notice something from this video towards the last video. I've actually started not going for Brave Bird, which I know in the last video I said I always go for Brave Bird and then end up getting farmed down. But this team's a little different. Sometimes I can take 2 shields here, I guess. I don't know. I just found myself being farmed down after the Brave Bird in the Dugong matchup to be possibly not as good as I had hoped. But to be honest, I ended up getting farmed down anyways. And we don't care too much about a drill run here, even though it is double super effective. It is non-stab, which is same type attack bonus. Dugong is not a ground type, so it doesn't get that extra, I believe it's 18 or 20% damage increase on a move if it shares the typing with your typing. All right, Clodsire in the back. Worst case scenario is this has Sludge Bomb, which, to be fair, and in the last few videos I've stated this, but they have moved away from Sludge Bomb seemingly for Stone Edge, but I still don't want to risk it here. I have 2 shields. I'm going to use them both here. And this one has Sludge Bombs, so that's really awkward for me because now it's like every time I need it to be have the different moveset, it never has it, and it always screws me. Now, obviously, that is like selection bias or whatever it's called, but I thought I could actually get the full farm down here, and now I have infinite energy to go off on this Gastrodon because I don't even think we're in Body Slam range because we are very bulky, and obviously one Frenzy Plant will KO this. I will throw on CMP, which is technically not great, but it's the end of the matchup, and I'm just trying to get a move off. And if they have double Body Slam, I don't want to risk CMP. Now, I talked about this earlier, and it's even worse now in the Shadow Drapion matchup, but I don't have the clearest answer for Drapion here. It is something to think about. I end up staying in this matchup for a very long time. They do have Aqua Tail, which is not great for me. It's going to be super effective against the Bastiodon, even though it is also non-stab. It is Shadow, so it is gaining that % bonus on the Shadow. I believe they keep throwing at weird timing, though, which is allowing me to really get a lot of extra moves off. I think at this point I've gotten 2 extra Stone Edges. Now I get 3. They're constantly throwing on 3, which they have a 2-turn move and we have a 3-turn move. They should be throwing on 1, 4, 7. Instead, they're throwing on 3 every time, which means their 3 2-turns attacks are 6 turns, and our 2 3-turn attacks is also 6 turns. So when they throw their charge move, we get that extra attack right there. So they end up coming in with Dunsparce, and I'm like, I've got an answer to this, but I can't really switch out. So Drifblim, I'll shield anything this guy does, and I will try my best to be throwing on good timing here because I should be able to throw 1 Incinerate, then throw a Fly, then throw 1 more Incinerate, and throw another Fly, which would be perfect timing for me to take this out. Probably will end up costing me both my shields here, but obviously I have the very insanely good matchup in the back. And we do outpace. Astonish, more of a damage move than a energy gaining move there. So, and I probably would have gone for the Frenzy Plant there, but all right, Marowak. So an interesting matchup, very good for us, not the worst in the world for them. We both have 3-turn attacks, so whoever throws, the other person will get an extra move through. Bone Club actually double super effective against me, which is interesting to say the least. I will try to catch a Bone Club, I think, on Talonflame. Talonflame not really going to take too much damage from the Marowak anyways because it is a fire type. And I kind of just want to leave my Bastiodon for the back because even though this is a good matchup for Bastiodon and it's not the greatest, it's still good. I do want to make sure that that I do have Bastiodon for whatever's in the back if there is like a flying type. That's the thing I'm most afraid of for Serperior. I do go for the Fly into a possible Brave Bird here, but they end up getting the move off, and this will KO me for sure. All right, we come in with a Serperior. I could go for a shield here, and I probably should. I need to maintain some amount of health on my overall team, and Bastiodon's already at half life. If I get my Serperior to like 40% off that Ice Beam, then what? I'm going to have 2 shields for like a total of 80% HP across my 2 Mon. So not something I want to deal with. They end up coming in with a Dugong here. It's not the greatest answer, and I do get to a Stone Edge, which is going to be super effective against the ice typing of Dugong. They end up shielding. And if I remember right, this person plays it really well. They go for 100 energy here before throwing. Very good for them. They're going to get they have 9 here, so they're going to get an Icy Wind off if they want before I get a move. And you see I decide to shield there because I think this is the strongest move left in the game. Now the problem is I have a Frenzy Plant, which is probably what I want to use against the Marowak. But this Marowak's not Shadow. I'm not too scared of one move KOing me. Even a Shadow Ball we would have lived. I guess something like I think it learns Fire Blast. Fire Blast would have definitely KO'd me, but they would have needed a lot more energy for that as well. So low kicks, actually really good for me. And I remember facepalming in this game. And I was like, why did I just switch to Talonflame into Azumarill? It's not the worst matchup in the world, but it's bad enough that they can win this if they... I mean, they can easily win this. So I just let it go. I am going to get a Brave Bird off, which is pretty nice. And I'm kind of hoping it'll KO, but it definitely won't. Azumarill's just a very bulky bunny. Oh, it definitely did. What? Perfect switch in of Talonflame. I do remember this game. I 99% sure that I win, and it ends up being like an okay matchup. In the back, Toxapex. I'm just going to go straight for the Frenzy Plants. Now, the opponent's in a situation where he knows I kind of have two shields, and I kind of want to shield through this thing, so they're going to bait me here. And even in the moment, I was like, I don't have to shield, but I definitely do shield. Yeah, I'm just... Yeah. He actually ends up throwing a Sludge Bomb here at the end as well. Yeah, you kind of just can't risk it, you know? Sometimes you know exactly what the opponent's going to do, but you cannot risk the possibility of a different outcome. And they end up coming back in with the low kicks. I believe this thing has Trailblaze and Sucker Punch, which got increased in damage this season. Oh, and got increased in a lot of things, actually. It's a very good move now. So actually it's neutral against me, so it's actually going to be doing a lot of damage. And yeah, you see it. It's getting awkward here because I'm like, Trailblaze only gets worse later. So I'm going to let this second one go through because the third one is going to definitely be a lot of damage. But I have to hope that I can actually KO it. And now they come in with a Poison Mon. Luckily, we do resist this poison. We double resist Poison Jab here. Or, yeah. So we're actually just going to go farm this down. And it's not even going to be that close. Even though our HP is super low, it's actually not close at all. Malamar. Another one I didn't know exactly what to do. I technically can handle. This was stupid, I think. So I have two answers to Ariados. One of them I decide to farm a little bit and then allow this Malamar to go off. And then the other one I'm throwing in to get absolutely burned to death by the Malamar, which is crazy. But it is possible that I can get to the double here. I did give them a lot of energy to work with, and they actually just kind of let it go, which is weird. Because now I have Brave Bird potential against whatever's in the back. They end up coming back in with Ariados, and I do go for the Brave Bird just so they don't get a big farm down here because I'm not going to make it to another move anyways. So I want to lower my defense here and just allow myself to get taken out. Now, this is awkward. So I decide to come in. Let's pause it for a second. So Morpeko in the back with two shields. This is horrific, kind of. But we do have two Mon to work with, and it doesn't have a big HP pool. So they're in the electric form right now. I decide to bring in my grass type because I do resist Aura Wheel Electric, or Electric Aura Wheel, however people are saying it nowadays. So I'm going to bring in Serperior right now, make him throw the Psychic Fangs, and then switch back into my Bastiodon so that they don't have that increase of their attack. Now, if I was this Morpeko, that's I think what I would do, but I don't know. I'd want to ramp myself up and stay ramped. So maybe you throw the resisted move. But my point is, if I do resist that move, they're going to be less likely to throw it, and they're going to lose their advantages that they're gaining by going with Psychic Fangs. Now they do go with our wheel, which is interesting. I do throw a move to take a shield here. I do throw the bait move because I know that he's going to be wanting to shield this thing. And then Bastiodon survives a decent amount here. So I'm going to allow myself to take an Aura Wheel. This is one time increased attack. And you can see it does a shit ton. It does half HP to a Bastiodon. That's crazy to say. Now I still have the shield. I probably just won't shield this next move because they have a possibility of going back to back. I will lose CMP if I try to shield this. It'll be crazy. So I allow myself to go down here. And I can, they're very low, so I can definitely just go for another Aerial Ace. My energy saved from earlier in the game, let's pause again, actually saves me here. And I make a call to not shield here because my only out is if they throw Psychic Fangs and they try to go for double Psychic Fangs. So they do end up going for that. And I literally didn't have a lot of paths to go, but this I think was all the correct thing to go. And in saying that, I think the opponent also did all the correct things there. So looky. I stay in this matchup for a long time for some reason, and because I got scared of the possibility of Earthquake. So I switched out. I should have switched to Serperior instantly. Instead, I've allowed Licky to gain a ton of energy to throw at Serperior now, and now it's an awkward matchup. Frenzy Plant's going to do a lot, but it's not going to KO, which means I'm going to be in a weird position where maybe I can outpace, but both my... So the thing is, both my Mon were good against I think it was an Ariados in the front, so maybe I'm okay with just allowing myself to go down here, and now I'm like... I guess I could come in Talonflame. This is... I don't even remember this game that well, but I didn't remember I came in Talonflame, but it does eat the move the best. We're probably... Oh, right, it was Abomasnow in the front, and I was like, whatever. But I outpace it, and so I don't want them to throw like an Icy Wind or Weather Ball at me on this unless I shield, but I don't want to trade shields. If I can, what am I trying to say? If I can take it out before we get to this situation where we're trading shields, I'd rather prefer that, which is what actually ended up happening. So now I can throw Brave Bird into this very easily, and then probably just switch to Bastiodon, even though this is a terrible matchup, but I do have a lot of energy that I did gain in that Licky matchup, and even though I do have all that extra energy from that matchup, I don't advise doing that. All right. So one thing to note there in that last battle too is that Talonflame is a counter to Gastrodon, like 90% of the time. So both my Mon are very good against ground types, being a flyer and being a grass. Now their coverages don't overlap a little bit, so this is called a balanced team. So it's not ABB and then I have 2 fires in the back, 2 grasses in the back. So like your game plan when you have those is switch to my safe swap one and then hope for like my last Mon to just take all their Mon out. So that's your very easy basic ABB strats. In an ABC comp like this, which is called balanced, in a balanced comp, it can be a lot tougher because you kind of have to think about what's going to be in that very back line. Do I think they have another safe swap after this that's Dunsparce? Well, then I need a save Serperior for that. Do I think they have more Pekko in the back? So then I need to bring in Talonflame, save Serperior for that. Things like that. Do I think they have a Talonflame in the back? Do I need to preserve Gastrodon through the beginning matchup and then switch into whatever in the back, probably Talonflame, so that I can maybe take a shield while keeping my Bastion alive for what I think is going to be good in a third matchup in the back. So these are the types of things you have to think about, whereas ABB is a little bit more straightforward, where it's like, I have my safe swap, I switch to it, we're good, I play the matches out like clockwork. So anyways, thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you aren't, definitely hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace. Hey, thank you for watching the video, and if you want to continue to support me, definitely click that subscribe button. You'll see any content coming out, and if you want another video on this same league for some more tips and tricks to other teams, check that video out right there, and I'll see you in the next one.